Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another video on this here channel. Do I sound normal yet, guys? I say my voice is still not completely normal, but we move. We're back. Someone had my voodoo doll during Mercury and micro raids, okay? Physically, mentally, and emotionally, we're great. And we're back with another podcast episode today. So I'm sure the title of today's video probably caught a lot of women's attention. Okay, and I think I've mentioned this in a couple of my videos, how I am not a fan of the term bird. Okay, not because I don't agree that some of these behaviors are ridiculous or compromising a lot of women's self-worth, but a lot of times we use the term bird when a woman is being mistreated, right? And everybody's mad at her and directing all their anger, frustration, ha ha ha, towards her rather than the person who's doing harm. Like it'd be the person in the situation that's not doing harm that's getting the harm, but y'all have a name for her, but y'all don't have a name for him. And that's why I don't like it. And it kind of gives misogynistic within the women community because I feel like women are the primary ones who use it. But even though I hate that word, that is what we're talking about today. And y'all know in this podcast, I speak from experience, right? Sometimes when people are calling women that, it's staying through things like cheating, or sometimes it's a lot more sinister than a lot of us think. But we don't know that. And then we're making fun of and not supporting and name calling someone, and you don't even know the extent of to why the bird hasn't left the situation, right? Thought about this in the sense of my own journey with love and relationships. It's something that made me really sad when I reflected on before. I'm someone who has been in 3 adult relationships. 2 of them were like lasted a year. The most recent one was pretty short, just a couple months. But before that, my only experience was like a couple month one in high school, which if you're not new here, y'all can probably identify like all of them. So I'm 23, and in my life, I think I've been in love 3 times. And the epiphany that I thought about when I reflected on love that made me sad, I don't know why. Well, I do know why. But I feel like it's a lot of other women's harsh reality is my second relationship was, even though the first 2 were a year, the second one, which was a year, was the second time I was in love, which I think was the closest and even longest in the year frame that I've ever been with someone. Okay, like when we weren't long distance because of school, we would be together like half the week. And I just feel like I felt the closest, felt the most myself, felt like I feel like that was the deepest I'd ever been in love was the second time I was in love. And that relationship happened to be my abusive one that I speak on in a lot of my podcast episodes from experience. I was emotionally and sexually abused. And that is why I find it sad because I'm a firm believer. I know different people have different opinions. I think that there's a lot of abuse and abusive relationships that happen that I can still look back at everybody I loved and be like, I did love them. Like a lot of people get out of it, they're like, that wasn't love. That treatment isn't love. Someone who loves you wouldn't do that. I think a lot of people love you and do not know how to treat you or what to do with those big feelings. So I think it's healthy love. Absolutely not. Right? But I'm a firm believer that, like, yeah, unfortunately, I feel like my abuser was the person I was the most in love with, and I kind of felt loved me the most, which is so icky to say, because, like I said, it's not healthy love, but it still was love. Up out of it, I've spoken a lot how I tried to leave my abuser many times, as most people do. Again, see, sometimes girls like me will be the person in the situation you don't even know that I'm being and manipulated and all that, but you hear one little story and it's like, oh, she's such a bird. Why would she be with him? I was kind of stuck. Okay. But yeah, so I tried to end it plenty of times. And a lot of abusers use different tactics. Some meet you with more abuse, meet you with anger. My abuser in particular used to meet me with kindness, softness, crying, begging, the opposite of like, wait, what? Like, I'll stop. Like, please, no. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, I'll be nicer. Like, let me get you this, blah, blah, blah. That is what kept me in because I was like, oh, I see this other side. Okay, maybe he is for real. Da 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 da. But I ultimately am the one who left it. The day after I left it, I reached out to my abuser to check on him because I felt so bad. I felt like I was leaving such a good person who loves me and would do anything for me and was begging for me to stay. And we had like a little closure conversation, right? After that, I never reached out again, right? But that is not a lot of people's stories with abusive story. You know, like I reached out the next day. I kind of got closure after that. When my nervous system regulated and stuff, I was like, wait, this feels nice. Okay, this feels nice. That was my story. But for a lot of girls, they're constantly reached out to, or they reach out because they feel the same as I did. As like, wow, like it's sad to say, but I truly kind of do feel like the person who seems like they cared most or that I was in love with most was the abusive relationship. As messed up as it sounds, it could kind of be true in how you feel. And a lot of people hold on to that feeling. A lot of people hold on to that feeling. And, you know, it's hard when you separate from someone. You separate and you feel like, oh, because you miss them or because there was good memories that you should be together. And they get stuck in an on, off, blah, blah, blah. And this is why, like I said, I don't appreciate the term bird as someone who has been through abuse, someone who has been through the cycle. Like I said, I personally didn't have a lot of breakups and getting back, but I had like, I want to leave you, I'm done, you're too much, this is hurting me. And then I'm like, wait. I think I literally read, because I read books. I'm just speaking from experience and common sense. Actually, I want to show you guys the book that my therapist gave me that I'm almost done with. It is this bad boy right here. Quote me on it. I'm pretty sure I read in this. It's called Healing Sexual Trauma Workbook. Somatic Skills to Help You Feel Safe in Your Body, Create Boundaries with Resilience by Erica Sherson. And I think they said it takes the victim about 10 times to leave an abuser, right? And like I said, for me, I want to say like, oh, it only took me once. But like I said, then I think back to that cycle and I'm like, it's kind of true. I remember multiple times. So I don't like the term bird. I don't like how harsh I feel like a lot, like the community of women has gotten on the internet. Leave him or leave us out of it. Bird, I could never. You could never until it's you. I never thought I would end up in an abusive relationship. I come from a two-parent household. I didn't see my parents yell, scream at each other, fight. Okay? Um, It happens. No one is immune to bad things. And what gets me is because I say these conversations aren't always about abuse. Sometimes it's just about a girl who'll take back a cheater. But again, even when we see celebrities, women in the limelight, they took back a cheater. I could never. He does this, and this. I could never. Again, that's only what we see. You don't know what else is happening behind closed doors. But something that also gets me about girls saying this, like, I could never. Y'all be trying to act like you've never been stupid over a man in your life. Okay? You guys really try it. A lot of you really try it. Hey, I'm someone who's never stayed with a cheater. Okay, I actually have a story time of my first boyfriend in high school who like cheated on me, but like in the talking stage. So it's still like you broke the agreement because we were supposed to be exclusive. And I took him back. Okay? Sue me. I was 17. But like in a in a committed relationship, I've never been cheated on, seen evidence and stayed. I don't think I would. I'm pretty sure I would. See again, but I don't want to do that. I would never. But even if it's not something as big as cheating, disrespect, stuff like that, people are all like, I would never. Like we see people, like I said, criticize women in the public eye. Love Island, celebrities. Be nice to each other. Like, a dude has never sent you something crazy, never talked to you crazy, never reposted something crazy. You never heard an opinion that was crazy for him. And what did you do? And you still stayed. And you was just able to talk about it and shit on him with your friends when you guys were separate. Like that's what gets me. No matter what scale it is. You've heard something trifling for a man has played in your face in some way before. All of us, unless you've never dated. But you think you're all high and mighty and bird, this. That's what really irritates me. Okay. And then moving on to the second point of the like when people come on here and they vent about their relationships and they're like, leave him or leave us out of it. I do understand that to an extent. But again, as someone who came from an abusive relationship that I think everybody thought looked like really cute and peaceful, sometimes I feel like those women are quite literally crying for help. Okay? Like, I just feel like when women come and they talk about mistreatment or you see them go to mistreatment, naturally, hey, maybe it's just me. My first instinct is not to make fun of them and call them names. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's extremely misogynistic the way, oh, I'm dealing with this, he did this, and we're all angry and name calling the person who got it done to. Like, that don't make no sense. I understand it. I understand it because, like I said, some stuff is tiring. We've all had a friend that rants about different stuff. Girl, I'm tired of hearing about this. Leave them. Blah, 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 blah. But I think as women, we should have a little bit more empathy for each other. We've all been in a relationship, whether yours was abusive like mine or it wasn't. It was just toxic, draining, where we don't know the full story. We've been through things and kept quiet. Like, I just feel like we should be a little bit nicer to each other. And especially, like I said, to all the women in the public eye that are constantly being attacked, because mind you, you don't know them. Maybe your best friend will say, it's okay to call me a dummy. It's okay to call me a bird. Mind you, the people on Love Island, celebrity women, you don't know them. Like, why are we talking to them and bullying them like they're our sister or our close friend? Which even I don't feel like you should be talking to them that way. Like, to me, the term bird is just it's so unnecessary. And I feel like I have a better definition of bird. Okay? People are like, she stayed with a cheater. Bird. She's pregnant with no ring. Bird. She blah, blah, blah. Don't even get me started on that conversation, y'all. Okay? But I feel like the real birds is the girl who dates someone who they know is I think that's Birdie. The mom who puts a man above her kids, lets him do disrespect, talk however they want to their kids. Women who let, abusive family members and, like I said, people come around and blah, blah, blah. Or women who, that's like what I really think. Like the girls who overlook other or people in general, who overlook others' harm, don't give I just don't think I immediately want to go to shaming the person who's being harmed. It just doesn't sound right to me. It sounds backwards. And I know a lot of women will disagree because I've spoke on this in like short form content. But hey, when you were crying and hyperventilating about how a man ripped your heart out, like, okay. So someone bullying you and calling you names and calling you a bird and saying you're stupid when you already know that and feel like that is a good idea? Okay, girl. Okay, girl. It's like real birds are the people who do the harm and y'all ain't even got a name for them. The cheaters, the abusers. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. Because, like I said, I speak from experience. I'm sure plenty of other people have experience in bad relationships, in abuse, that I guess, for lack of better terms, in a lot of people's eyes, I was once a bird. I was once a bird for being abused and manipulated. Silly me. Like I said, the psychology of this is super serious. Like I said, how I had that whole epiphany, how I was like, why did epiphany make me think of sincere? Oh my God. Saying epitome like that, bro. I can't. But yeah, like I said, reflecting and thinking back to my abuser and feeling like that's the closest I've ever felt to someone, the most in love I've ever felt with someone. I'm glad that I took almost 2 years off dating. I went to therapy. I have family who supports me. I have friends who support me. I started sharing my story on the internet, and I've there's wonderful men and women who are supportive or who share similar stories and stuff. But not everyone has that. Some people think that like, yeah, I was in love the most that time. Let me try again. People with support, people who just call them birds and dummies might run back into the arms of their abuser. I'm glad I didn't, but that's what I'm saying. Anyways, my abuser, your abuser, and everyone in between. Everyone in between. This is for the people receiving mistreatment. I hope this felt like a warm hug. I hope you could take something away from it. And yeah, you guys like my shirt? You should follow Solely by Alicia on Instagram because this top is dropping in 2 days. Guys, this is random. This is just me stuff for people who want to hear. But I've been working on this since the beginning of the year, and it's finally dropping, and I'm gonna be a business owner at 23. And as much as like my life isn't where I would exactly want it to be, I need to give myself flowers for a second, especially like I said, after that retrograde rocking me physically. Because mentally and emotionally, I'm really up. Like 23 years old, 3 streams of income, not enough to pay the bills yet, but like I'm dropping like shirts like inspired by my culture. Like I really hope you guys follow and buy the shirt. But yeah, just a little positivity to end off that episode. But I hope you guys like it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.